Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the flock rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. The Ravens just beat the Houston Texans 34-10 to advance to the AFC Championship. Before we dive into the game, shout out to Joystick Season. He guessed Dalvin Cook would have a total of 22 yards. He had 23 yards, so I hit you up, replied to your YouTube comment, just hit me back, and I'll send you $50. But let's dive into this magical game. First half was scary. You know, we looked good early driving the ball. I feel like first drive, go down and get a field goal. Shortly after that, it was like his third drive. We have a touchdown drive. Lamar throws one to Aguilar. I'm feeling great. Defense balled all game long, but the offense was a little slow after that initial 10 points they put up. Kind of had a lot of 3-and-outs. Lamar was holding the ball for a long time. And I wasn't watching the routes play out because of the TV, but it looked like all the routes were just way downfield, and we didn't have a lot of underneath stuff designed. And then Houston just starts blitzing and bringing the house every time, and Lamar is trying to make something happen, but there's just nothing downfield, and he's under pressure the majority of the time. So that's why we kept going 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. I'm like, just put something underneath. Just have like a check down, a swing route, a little curl, a crossing from Isaiah Likely or whoever. Just create other layered options so that if there is the blitz and there is pressure, Lamar can just throw that ball right away to somebody. And then Houston obviously had that punt return at the time, tied the game 10-10. Was just feeling uneasy in the first half, as I'm sure the Ravens were too. Harbaugh talked about it just now in his press conference about the adjustments that they made.
We talked a little bit about what defenses we were going to be in, and then offensively we talked a little bit about completions, a little bit about a profit game, you know, let's get the thing going, not try to push the ball downfield quite as much. I think that also helped open up the run game a little bit. So Lamar did a great job. A lot of that was his thinking as well. I mean, he was all over what he thought we needed to do in the second half. Collaborative effort for sure. Todd deserves a lot of credit. I thought he called a great game, especially in the second half. And Mike was, you know, he was on fire.
Second half, completely different story. Literally the opening drive of the second half hits Justice Hill on a swing route, hit Isaiah Likely on a short throw, Nelson Aguilar on a short throw, boom, 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 right down the field. Lamar's running a lot more. We scored a touchdown to open the second half, and we just rolled from there, man. The defense continued to ball, continued to put pressure, contain everything downfield. We talked about it in the pregame show how we just don't play the aggressive style of defense that Cleveland plays. You know, like everyone's like, oh, Stroud's so dangerous and this offense is so dangerous. Look what they did to the Browns, who also have an elite defense. And we don't play like that, though. We kept everything in front of us. You're not throwing nothing deep. You're not getting a big play over us. You're going to have to throw shorter passes and chip your way down the field. And we're going to play physical the whole way down and just bank on you making a couple more mistakes or possibly us getting a turnover, but that didn't end up happening. And we didn't even get a sack, crazy enough. No sacks on C.J. Stroud. Our defense had no sacks. Defense led the league in sacks this year, but had 0 in the playoff game. Didn't matter. Shout out to everybody on that defense, man. Mike McDonald for the game plan. I mean, that is a talented Houston offense. I don't want to downplay it and say that they're not good. I'm just saying that's how special this Ravens defense is and how smart they play. They play so physical, but so smart, and a lot of that is to Mike McDonald. So shout out to him. Shout out to Roquan Smith for getting these guys together. Kyle Hamilton, good seeing him back out there. Brandon Stevens played a great game. Clowney was getting pressure. Van Noy played a great game. Just absolute domination by that Ravens defense. And then the Ravens offense in the second half went nuts. Lamar just took over. He was running a lot more. Houston was allowing him to run a lot more. I think that's why his yards were so high, as Lamar was just taking what was there. Houston did a great job. They played defense almost the exact opposite of how a lot of teams play. A lot of teams come in to play the Ravens and they're like, all right, just keep Lamar in the box and let him throw it. Well, we're cool with him throwing down the field. Houston did the exact opposite. They're like, we're going to take away everything down the field. You're not going to be able to get a lot of big plays on us either. And we're going to blitz you so you don't have a ton of time. And you're either going to have to run yourself or you're going to have to chip your way down the field with shorter passes. And Lamar took off. He started running a lot more, had 100 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns on the ground, 2 passing touchdowns as well. So 4 total touchdowns. I mean, MVP performance, it's undeniable. This guy clearly is the MVP and just showed out in his most meaningful game ever. And now we're headed to an AFC championship that will be hosted in Baltimore. We're going to play the winner of the Bills and Chiefs. I can't wait. It'll be at 3 o'clock next Sunday. And it's been 12 years since this Ravens team's been in the AFC championship. That's a long time, a whole different era of players and different decade, So it's exciting that Lamar and these guys get to experience that, and that Harbaugh gets to experience it again, and this team deserves it. They're built for it. We've been saying this all year long. We've been on this ride all year long since the offseason, and it's all coming together. They look great. I don't think we're going to have to worry about the rust factor or anything like that anymore. We play next week. We just got that out of our system. Lamar admitted after the game that first quarter did feel a little weird again. Run game overall started to get going in the second half, led by Lamar Jackson, obviously, but Justice Hill had a ton of good runs. Looked like Gus got banged up. Harbaugh said he'd be okay, so I don't think it's anything serious there, but we did get to see some Dalvin Cook at the end of the game. I was kind of worried for my giveaway question because I was like, man, it's the fourth quarter. We haven't even seen him. I think he was in like one play and he like missed his assignment or whatever, and like he didn't get any touches though until the fourth quarter, and then boom, 21-yard run. He had a couple other positive runs, and then he had a couple negative runs towards the end when Houston knew we were just running the clock out. So I think Dalvin Cook's role will slightly expand, especially depending on how Gus Edwards' health is. I think Gus will be fine, but I do think Dalvin Cook's role will expand in the run game. So we'll be seeing more of him in the AFC Championship, and we're getting Mark Andrews back in the AFC Championship. But huge shout out to Isaiah Likely again. He didn't have a crazy involved day throughout the game, but man, head top mossed. Likely's balling. He's balling. I don't want to even see him not be involved. When Mark comes back next week, we need to have both of them out there. You saw Kohler out there on some underneath routes and out there blocking. I don't think it should be any different. We can have Mark and Isaiah Likely out there. If anybody's role goes down a little bit, it's probably Kohler. And it's not that he's playing bad, but Mark Andrews is Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Likely deserves to be on that field. So I think we'll see a lot of both of them, and I'm sure Mark will be on some kind of snap count. I don't think he's just going to go out there and play the entire game. He hasn't played in a while, but we will see Mark Andrews next week for the AFC Championship. But what a win. Let's enjoy this one. We got a weekend of football now. We don't have to worry about the Ravens at all. We already won. Job's done. On to the AFC Championship. It's a special time for this city, for this football team, for the fans. But let me know your guys' thoughts about the game. What do you think? What do you think we can improve on? How excited are you, most importantly? And who do you want, Bills or Chiefs, to win? Who would you rather play in Baltimore next week? I think I'd rather go with the Bills. I think their offense can be a little bit better, can be a little bit more potent, but I think their defense is so much worse than the Chiefs. Not that we can't beat any of these teams. I really believe that we can beat either team, but I think that the Chiefs' defense is sneaky solid, man. Like, they're really good, and the Texans just gave us some problems. Not that we can't overcome those things. Like I said, I still think we can score points on the Chiefs' defense. I'm just saying the Chiefs' defense is way better than the Bills' defense, and I just think that Mahomes, kind of finds a way to get it done a bit more. He's way more proven. He's won the Super Bowl, so I think I'd prefer the Bills, but we'll take whoever. I'm confident in our ability to beat either team, especially being in Baltimore. I appreciate you guys tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend. Go celebrate this one. Have fun, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.